Hello. Hey, how's it going? We're doing pretty good. We hope y'all are. Thank you everybody who's liked and followed us on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
We really appreciate that.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much.
It's very exciting. We're glad you're along for the ride.
So, I'm sure that if you have been following us on Instagram or Facebook, you've seen we've been posting this past week about some of the stuff we've done, some of the Star Trek things we have. But last weekend we were able to go to the Renaissance Fair. It's the third year in a row that they've come to the Memphis area, and I got to go the first time. Neither one of us got to go last year, and this was my second time going and her first time going.
It was amazing.
Yes, it's they put a lot of thought, work, time, and attention into details, and and we got to go 2 different weekends. We got to go and hang out and do grown-up things like drinking the first time, and then the second time we took the kiddos and
huzzah for the pepper tipper.
Yes, I love the people that have everybody that has something to do with that fair. It's amazing. But our favorite is the music, and we got to see one of the best bands that I've seen in a live setting. They're bagpipers, and their name is Haggis Rampant, and I got to see them 2 years ago, got to see them again this year, and they're just put on a really great show. We really enjoyed watching them. We
did, and Morgan is really great on the drum.
Yes, but they're just really an awesome family. We just enjoyed being around them. They're fun to watch. They really get into it. It's just really nice.
They do, and we took several videos.
Yes, so would you like to see them?
Yes.
Well, let's see them.
Here we are. Whoop.
Did you enjoy it?
That was so quick. Oh my gosh. Where did the time go?
Just like that.
We do hope you enjoyed the videos, and go to their Facebook. We're going to put the link in the description. They're for their Facebook and their Instagram. But go like them, listen to them. I believe everybody will really enjoy them because they do a great job. And
right.
As you saw in the videos, they really get into it. They enjoy themselves, and that's one thing, no matter what you're doing.
It draws the audience in. It really really gets everybody into the performance. And then they have this CD.
Burley.
This is really good. It's got they have a guest playing guitar with them, and it is track number 7 is the best. It's the Steam Train to Malag. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's a really good CD. They're a really awesome family. You should go check them out. And yeah, that's what we did this past weekend. It was kind of like a fun adventure. It's interesting to meet people who like to do non-traditional, not mainstream things.
Oh,
yeah, like going off the beaten path to things like that.
It was, and it's like stepping into another world. It was so enjoyable, and just the atmosphere, not just because it was the Renaissance Fair, but in my experience, and maybe yours too, you know, like-minded people getting together like that. You know, it's just there's something about it, just such good vibes, and the place, the kind of place you want to be.
Yes, and the music is still the best, and the food, like just walking around chomping on a turkey leg, it's the best.
Takes me back.
Yes. But yeah, so that's just a fun little non-Star Trek tidbit, but you know, like we've said, we love all things.
Exactly.
So we saw episode 2 of the animated series.
Yesteryear.
Yes, and it was a Spock episode, and we love us some Spock. Who doesn't love Spock? I mean, come
Yes, the Vulcans in general. I have one on my arm to prove it.
Yes. But yeah, so Yesteryear, this is season 1, episode 2 of the animated series. Basically, it is a episode where Spock goes back in time to save himself as a child from dying, so that he can exist again in his current timeline. It's a time travel episode, which gotta love the time travel. It's so cool.
Yeah, they go through this thing called the vortex, which looks like this swirling ball of rainbow mesh, I guess.
And it sounded like the Wizard of Oz.
It does. Yeah, because you tell the Guardian, who is the keeper of this vortex, you know, where you'd like to go, and tell him, you know, as long as you don't change anything major in the timeline. He does. He sounds like the man behind the curtain in Wizard of Oz. He really does. But he reminded me of the Caretaker in Voyager. Just that kind of species, able to kind of time travel, you know.
Yeah, time travel is always a really cool thing. And then we were talking about earlier, with this being a self-discovery episode for Spock.
Yeah.
When he was getting ready to go back in time, he went back 30 Vulcan years. And I think we did a little math, but a Vulcan year is longer. Like, it's 2.8 years compared to our 1 year. So, you know, Spock was almost 100, I think.
Yeah.
At the time of all this. But it's interesting to know that, you know, you have conversions like that. Like, not every planet's years or seasons or everything is the same length. Because everybody orbits things differently or have things that orbit them differently.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it just shows that they put attention to detail.
They do. They think outside the box, where, you know, you hear so many years, you automatically think human years, or Earth years, I'm sorry.
Right.
Because that's just the only thing that you know.
Yeah. We tend to get stuck in things we only know.
Yeah.
That's why you have to, like, peek over and look at your fellow man and be like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or hey, that's not cool.
We did recognize a familiar voice in this episode. I believe she did 2 different voices in this episode.
I don't remember on this episode, but the actress has done a bunch with Star Trek. She played in the original series, she was the Nurse Christine Chapel. In Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, she was Lwaxana Troi, who was Deanna's mother. And her name is Majel Barrett. And we also found out in researching her that she was Gene Roddenberry's second wife. I had no idea. She voiced the computer a lot, like the computerized voice in a lot of the series. And her voice is just so distinctive now. Whenever I hear it, I'm like, that's her. I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she does have a very distinctive voice.
Yeah. But yeah, so now another thing about this animated episode number 2, it kind of ties in similarly, or blah, 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 I can't talk. It reminded you of a Next Generation episode, right?
It did. It was an episode that was in season 7, episode 21, called Firstborn, where Worf, spoiler alert, 1, 2, 3, here we go. Worf's son, Alexander.
Jinx.
Yomeo, Coke. You got one?
I got some wine.
Okay, there you go. Where Alexander, we don't find out till the end, but he ends up coming back and trying to change himself into a different type person. He, in the future, became a peaceful, I almost said Democrat.
Diplomat.
A peaceful diplomat. Not a doormat, but a diplomat. And he was, in a way, ashamed because his father, Worf, ended up dying, you know, and he felt like if he had become a warrior, that he could have prevented that. So he came back in time to try to change that about himself, and Worf almost kills him until he reveals who he is, you know, and they both kind of learn a lesson about it, and I just thought it was kind of cool that another character went back in time to try to save themselves in some sort of way. In some sort of way.
That would be nice. If they're like, I'm going to go back to my childhood and change this. I would do that a bunch if I could.
Yeah, it'd be hard to narrow down just one if you only had one chance.
But I mean, then you get into the politics of time travel where, well, if you go change one thing, then it sets off a cascade.
How many other things?
And speaking of cascading timelines, I started playing the Star Trek Timelines game this week. The mobile game, I'm playing it on the iPad. And it is a strategy role-playing game. It's a little bit more intensive than games I'm used to playing, so I'm still trying to figure it out, like what you have to do to gather things, to merge and make other things. I'm still researching all that, but one of the storylines that I'm playing right now has Alexander in it. Worf's son.
Oh, okay.
And so the whole premise of the timeline game is Q begins it out, you know, basically saying, look, we're having time issues and all these people from other timelines are in our space and we're getting bumped to their space. So you got to figure it out.
That Q is asking for help?
Yeah. And so John Delancey did a lot with this game. So you hear him narrating, and they have voices, like little phrases for other ones, but he's the one that you hear the most. And so yeah, it was kind of interesting because it's Alexander time traveling and working with the augments, and the augments and the Klingons are fighting. So it's immersing me into a storyline, and you have different ways of solving things, and it may give you 3 different ways to solve it, but depending on which way you pick or which character you have do that task, it can change what happens next. So
that's interesting. I'll have to try.
It's timelines. I mean, you can jump from one timeline to another. It's really cool.
I'll have to download that and try that out, because that does sound interesting. Almost like it would just go on forever.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, infinite possibilities.
It's a mobile game, so in order to do certain things in the game, you have to have these certain crystals. In order to get those crystals, as far as I can see right now, is you have to pay for them.
Oh.
So, but I mean, it's one of those games, it's free to download, but then you can invest money into it. So it's like, you know, I feel like that if it was a price to buy the game, like let me buy the game and then give me ways to earn the currency without having to keep spending more and more money.
Right.
But it's one of those games, so I'm just going to enjoy playing the as much story as it'll let me. So.
Well, yeah, I'll definitely have to download that and try it out, because I've watched, you know, scrolling through Instagram and stuff, seeing advertisements and seeing characters from the different series together. So everybody from the Star Trek universe, for the most part,
is up for grabs. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's really neat.
Yeah, because I have members of my crew that are from all the different. I have the original Spock from the original show. I have Captain Picard from Next Generation. I have 7 of 9. I have Dr. Crusher. I have Data. I have Quark. So I mean, and all of them have different traits and characteristics. So like when it's about to send you on a mission, it'll be like, well, you need somebody with these traits. So you pick the people that have the strongest traits in those, because there's your better chance of doing all the steps of the puzzle once you get into the story.
Oh, okay. You know, I wonder if there's any chance that once the new series starts, if they'll start putting Discovery characters.
Probably.
In the timeline. How awesome would that be?
Yeah, and there's even a way for multiple players. Like you can link up, and they don't call them guilds. I forget. I have to look it up. But it's something where you can join and play with other people. So, you know, that would be cool, you know, to like start playing that with other people, whoever might be playing it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I still need to figure the game out a little bit more, because I'm a slow learner with some games, and I only get to play it little snips and pieces here and there. So.
Right.
So this is Klingons. We're just talking about the Klingons tonight.
I guess it's just Klingon heavy. So let's move on to another Klingon that hopefully is going to be one of our new favorite Klingons. The lady who plays her, the woman, It's okay to call her lady, right? As long as I don't call her a girl.
I'm your lady.
And you are my man whenever you reach for me. Okay. Thank you, Celine. Okay, so we're talking about Mary Chieffo. I apologize if I'm saying her name wrong.
Chieffo. That looks like Chieffo.
Does it look like Chieffo?
Yeah.
Well, she is playing one of the female Klingons in the new series, and she started out to get into the role. You know, a lot of actors, they watch past things, especially like Star Trek.
Right.
You know, well, she started watching Klingon heavy episodes, and then really when she started watching Deep Space Nine, which who could blame her, she really started getting into it.
Right.
And so she just started watching every episode instead of just the Klingon heavy
That's
episodes.
how you watch Deep Space Nine.
She's a woman after our own heart.
Yes.
So, but her favorite character, she said, was Grilka, which Grilka is quite hilarious. We know how she messed with Quark.
Right?
Yes, yes. Quark was going to be her mate. But in this interview on StarTrek.com, she was talking about how you were going to see a different side of the Klingons as well as the bridge Klingons like we're used to.
Right.
You know, and kind of like we talked about last week, the other characters are kind of in the forefront instead of the captain. We're still going to get to see, to quote her, intimate moments. So we're going to get to see both sides. And to me, that's so interesting that they're delving into that, you know, and that tells me that hopefully there's going to be great character evolution and plot evolution in this show.
Right, and it's encouraging to know that even though the Klingons in this new show don't look what we think what we've seen Klingons look like before.
Yeah.
She's still going back to those old episodes. She's pulling on the character and the spirit of the Klingons, which holds true through all of the Star Trek series.
Oh yeah,
You know,
she's really
you may look
making
different, you may, different nuances, but the heart, the character, it's still there.
Yeah, she really is making an effort to keep, like you said, the true Klingon-ness there.
Right.
You know.
Kapla. And that's another thing. We're seriously about to start learning Klingon. Dee's gone through 2 lessons already, and I haven't started it yet. But that's one of our projects coming up, is learning how to speak the language.
Oh yes, and you can do it too, but you better be ready to be every English grammar rule that you've ever known to be broken down. You will lay broken before the Klingon language. Yes, you will. But I'm excited for it. I think, if I was going to learn a new language, why not Klingon?
I mean, really, and that's always admiring to me, is people who write books and television shows and movies, and how they create a language from the ground up, just so that it's, it's something different. It's something, something that they made. They have all the credit for it. That's just really cool.
It is cool. Instead of like all these remakes. Not Star Trek, because Star Trek is always cool because it's new stuff. But all these remakes of cartoons and stuff, it's cool when there is original ideas.
Yeah.
That's very admirable.
Yeah, and we all love the Klingons. There were times in Next Generation or Deep Space Nine where you're like, when the episode starts and it shows the little preview scene, and you're like, oh, it's another Klingon episode. But then by the middle, you're like, yes, it's a Klingon episode. And you just want to be out there fighting with them.
That's right. It's a good day. Today is a good day to die.
Yes, just wakes up that warrior spirit.
It does.
And Worf, I mean, he's everybody's favorite Klingon, right?
He is, and he tries so hard to keep a straight face. I swear he has to have at least this much Vulcan blood in him, because he does not like to show his emotions. He just,
Such a great character. I was so glad when they brought him on to Deep Space Nine. It was amazing. And one of my all-time favorite episodes was the episode where Worf and Dax got married.
Yes.
And, everybody was... when I got married a few years back, I was telling everybody I'm going to have a Star Trek wedding, and nobody believed me. Nobody believed me. So I took the Klingon marriage ceremony that they used when Worf and Dax got married. I condensed it down, turned it into a reading, and my good friend Dee here read it at the wedding. So it was just a fun way to put that Klingon into the day. But a lot of people didn't know it was the Klingon. So
yeah, and it's so beautiful.
Joke's on you.
It is beautiful, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
Should we show it to them?
The whole, sure.
Okay, go watch it.
Here it is. With fire and steel did the gods forge the heart. So fiercely did it beat. So loud was the sound that the gods cried out, "On this day we have brought forth the strongest heart in all the heavens. None can stand before without it trembling." But then the heart weakened. Its steady rhythm faltered, and the gods said, "Why do you weaken so? We have made you the strongest in all creation." And the heart said, "I am alone." And the gods knew that they had erred. So they went back to their forge, and they brought forth another heart. But the second heart beat stronger than the first. But the first heart was jealous of its power. Fortunately, the second heart was tempered by wisdom, and it said, "If we join together, no force can stop us." And when the two hearts began to beat together, they filled the heavens with a terrible sound. For the first time, the gods knew fear. They tried to flee, but it was too late. The hearts destroyed the gods who created them, and turned the heavens to ashes. To this very day, no one can oppose the beating of two hearts joined together in love. Live long and prosper, my friends.
Did you like it?
It was cool, wasn't it? And the music that's behind it, I don't know if anybody recognizes it.
Did you recognize it? Should we tell them what it was?
I think you should.
Okay. It was the Penny Whistle theme by Picard. The Inner Light, that was the name of it. And it was just so perfect because when the storyline built up, the music built up, and it was all just perfect.
It was a beautiful wedding.
Yeah.
It really was. And
So
I
if
think-
you
I
want
think
to have
that
Star Trek
really-
in your wedding, go for it. Don't
yeah.
don't let anybody hold you back. It's really cool.
And I promise you, well, you know now that you've seen the clip, they didn't dress up like Klingons. They didn't. But it was still beautiful.
Yes. Okay, so I have a question for you. It's a burning question. It's the burning question of the day.
Oh, I can feel it.
You all right over there?
Yeah, I may need some tucks before this is over, but
Okay, so the burning question of the day. Who is your favorite Star Trek captain, and why is that person your favorite Star Trek captain? And I went first last time, so it's her turn to go first today.
I didn't even get to flip a coin or draw a short straw. It's just, we're playing by the rules.
Take turns.
So, I'm going to play by the rules.
Okay.
Well, after much mulling and looking up other people's opinions, which really I shouldn't have done, you know.
Did you make a pro-con list?
No, I just kind of wrote down some
Okay.
statistics that Star Trek took, that StarTrek.com in 2012 took, and their overall impression was Picard from the votes of the masses.
But what categories were these votes based on?
Well, there were 4 categories.
Okay.
There was most inspiring, most decisive, which if I was in that category, I would have 0% out of 100. Okay. Most courageous and most intelligent. And Captain Picard, excuse me, won 3 out of those 4 categories. He won most inspiring. He also won most decisive. And then he also won most intelligent by an alarming.
He is decisive because he always knows what he wants to drink.
And the most courageous went to none other than my favorite captain, Captain Janeway. And the reason for that was...
So you just said my favorite captain.
Yes, that is my favorite captain. Captain Janeway. Cuts out of the bag!
And is that your main reason for liking her? Is her courageousness?
My main reason for liking her...
Her courageousness. Her
is
courage.
Her courageousness.
Is that a word?
Her courageous nature, let's say.
She's courageous.
She's very courageous.
Okay, the word's lost all meaning.
Yes. But, you know, she made a hard decision and got her and her crew stranded in the Delta Quadrant with no allies, no supplies to speak of.
And flying by the seat of her pants.
Yes, and knew that it was going to take over 70 years for them to reach home.
That's crazy.
And it ended up not taking that long, but I believe that she did such a great job, and she's just my favorite anyway.
Yep. So I was kind of flip-flopping between two different ones. I was thinking Picard, and then I was thinking Cisco. But I think Cisco won out in the end.
Surprise, surprise, DS9.
Well, it just shows such a different aspect. You know, all the other captains were out on a starship traveling the galaxy. For the most part, he was there on the station. You know, he was in it for the long haul. He was out in the frontier of space, you know, the unknown parts of space.
He was the emissary, for God's sake.
Right, he was the emissary. And, you know, and he could be diplomatic. He could play by the rules. He could be the charming everything. But then he could also knock you out and shake some sense into you, like he did with Q. You know, he punched Q right in the face, and Q's like, well, Picard never hit me. No, I'm not Picard. I'm Cisco. So that spirit of it right there just makes him my favorite captain.
You know, speaking of Q, he walked in on my favorite captain while she was in the bathtub.
Rude.
That guy.
I still love him though.
I do love him too. He's funny. And Q2, his son. Did you know, Star Trek Nugget, some of you may realize, and you may too, Kara, but the kid who played Q2, his son, was his son in real life?
Yes, I found that out this week. Someone had posted that on Instagram,
Oh, okay.
and I did not know that. That's very cool. But yeah, so that was the burning question of the day. We've gotten the formalities of the question.
Yeah,
Who's
we
our
got
favorite
that
captain?
fire
Why?
put out.
And then, you know, maybe next time we'll talk about our second favorite captain. Who knows?
Maybe.
But anyway,
unless you have a suggestion for a burning question, I'm sorry, I interrupted my friend.
If you have a suggestion for a burning question, let us know. We will talk about it, ask each other that question. And also, we really appreciate, once again, following us on Facebook, Instagram. It's the fact that people like to see what we're putting out there is encouraging to us and makes us, you know, try to stay accountable, and pretty much everything you see is just stuff that we think is cool. So,
yeah.
You know, if we think it's cool, then maybe one other person out there will think it's cool too. But we really appreciate all the follows and the comments and getting to know some of you. It's really cool.
Getting to know you.
Right. But yeah, so that is pretty much, I think we're ready to wrap it up.
Well, should we unwrap something? Because we have maybe a few minutes, or do you think we should wait till next time?
I think we should wait till next time.
Okay, well,
sorry, no
I'm
unwrapping
sad,
tonight.
but Mom says we can't take a toy out of the package till next week.
We can show them what we've been drinking though.
We can.
We have.
First of all, let me say, don't drink and drive. Nobody here is drinking and driving. We're not even drinking enough to warrant not driving, but we're not driving anyway. It is Outlander. If you haven't seen that show, it's really got nothing to do with the show.
It doesn't. This is a California wine, and the show Outlander is set in Scotland, as you all know.
But as a side note, you need to watch Outlander. Read the books. They're great.
Or listen to the audiobooks. They're equally as great.
Yes. There's 9 or 10 of them. I can't remember. Diana. Ooh, I don't want to say her last name wrong, so I'm not going to say it at all.
Go look it up, the Outlander books.
You should, and don't forget to check out Haggis Rampant, their description.
Yes,
their link is going to be in our description. I hope you guys really enjoy it, and
yes.
we cannot wait to see them again.
If bagpipe music makes your bits tingle, you want to go check them out.
Tingly bits. I love tingly bits.
But yeah, thanks for putting up with us again, and talk to us. We're not shy. Not much.
Not really. Takes a lot. We don't get embarrassed easily. Like, comment. If it's bad, we can take the bad with the good.
But don't be a troll.
We're big girls, yeah. Don't be a troll. Like and share. Don't forget to like and share Haggis Rampant.
Yes, they're awesome.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.